After we take a showdown in Barcelona, we come back to the Nürburgring for GT3 racing here at AMX Global for race 25 season 4. Welcome everybody to another Sunday in terms of broadcasting for AMX 1 and AMX 10, and most importantly, happy Easter. That's the most important of it. This is an important day for everybody. Well, who's talking? My name is Lorenzo Bonder, and I'm right here with Connor Nixon. And Connor, we took a showdown with the M2s in Barcelona. Now we come into Nürburgring, an iconic track for GT3 racing and racing in general. We're looming large into the Nürburgring 24. What can we expect? And also, more importantly, we're also looming into the new update into Assetto Corsa, which is actually bringing the Nordschleife because IGTT is coming to the Nürburgring 24 this year. What can we expect from the iconic German track?
Oh, look, it's such a famous racetrack, but it's such a gruesome track. It does not care about your feelings. It will spit you out and go, you've done your little race, and we'll spit you back out, and and you can go on your merry way. It's not nice. You can go into a wall pretty easily. The curbs are huge around here, especially the big Nordschleife, but the GP's a little bit nicer, and awesome racing, especially up at that last hairpin at the back of the course and the chicane, where definitely some interesting racing when getting around there. So yeah.
It's going to be an interesting one. The Dunlop chicane, the Dunlop hairpin, the Michael Schumacher S, the Bilstein Curva, the Mercedes-Benz Arena, the NGK chicane, you name it. There's so many iconic corners and layouts in this track that has been for long, and not just in racing in general, but also, like I said before, former home the European Grand Prix, former home of the German Grand Prix, and now home of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring, which we're gonna, like I said, hopefully soon in AMS we're gonna be commentating that, absolutely. But before we go into the racing itself, we have a few in-house stuff that we got to take care on and bring it up to speed to every one of you. So let's get down to it. As I just said, this is AMX1. Basically, the day started at January 27th, and we go to April 20th first, so we still have a few weeks until the end of the season. Prize pool is $20,000, including also next level gear, and there is most races in here, variety of car and track combos, basically. And the race format for Assetto Corsa Competizione is a qualifier, 20-minute open qualifier, and then leads to a 40-minute race with a 1 mandatory pit stop in between the race itself. Well, like every other race we have here at AMX Global, driver cams are required. There's a link on our Discord or in our website that you can go on and link and showcase your face through the worldwide webs of the world. Basically, the payout is balances over $100 paid out in each month, and we have race days from every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, basically. And you can sign up at amxglobal.com for you to race on. And the schedule doesn't change anything at all. We have our first race, AMX1 at 5:50 p.m. GMT. AMX10 is at 7:20 p.m. GMT. Usually with iRacing races over there. Well, with that being said, I think I said everything that I wanted to talk about. But before we take into the track and cars itself, prize pool for the race is basically really simple. $100 total per race. The prize pool is first place, you get $25, second and 23rd, 4, 15, 4, 7. Then we go down into fifth all the way down to 15th. We'll get that money from 6, 5, 4, 350, and then decrements of 50 cents all the way down to the 15th place, with the fastest lap also earning $4, so you can earn the max of $29 if your pace is right on it and you're winning this race. And there you go, we have our top 12 with our leader still being Mauricio Lozano, leading by with a considerable stretch over Diego Villarreal de Leon. The Uruguayan actually closed the gap last time by, but Lozano still on the top of the board. Facundo Raggio is in third place with Lloyd Renier in fourth, Gerardo Ramos fifth, Connor Healy, Altaro Gayoso, Lucas Verle, Simone Seminara, Lau Mora, Mateus Machado, and Roman Pascucci are your top 12 respectively here at AMX1. And there you go, you can see one of our good prizes that we have for next level racing, and the top 12 basically laid out, and the movers up and down here on the field with Simone Seminara with 58 points, Verle in third, and so forth. We have our top 10. And P1 currently is Lloyd Renier in the server, if I remember correctly. So I think without being said, I spoke too much. I'll leave Connor to talk about our fabulous track in Germany and our cars that we're racing today.
Well, good, mate. I love when we get our little spiel at the start. Ladies and gentlemen, we've already talked about it. Let's get down to the nitty gritty and get to our tracking car combo. So Nürburg GP, like Lorenzo already said, the Nürburg GP, which the F1 already raced here years ago, and they came back here recently. But it is obviously called a Nürburg. The country is Germany. Great little place. Apparently it's got really good beer, so I want to give that a go one day. Opened up in 1927, and it's about 5Ks, just over the border of 5Ks, and awesome little track. We already talked about some awesome curbs and corners there. Not very familiar with it. I'm more familiar with the bigger circuit, but it'll be great to watch these guys go around here tonight. And moving on to our car, this car is, I'll just wait for all these glamorous shots to go through. Absolutely amazing shots there by the production team there. This car is no stranger to anyone these days. It's probably one of the most famous cars you go racing these days for professional drivers. It's the GT3. It's a GT3 class. It's called an ACC. It's got 500 horsepower to 600 horsepower, rear-wheel drive at 1,200 kilos to 1,300 kilos, sequential gearbox, so paddle shift, like we always mention in the iRacing. Always a paddle shift we've noticed over the last, I'd say 30 years. I'd say we've kind of switched over from a lot of racing cars back when Formula One had sequential gearboxes and, a H pattern, which is long gone. All down to paddles. So there are cars for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll give it back to you, Lorenzo. Apologies, I'm half awake.
It's all right.
Bring it back to you. Apologies, still trying to wake up.
It's all right, mate. It's all right. I feel you right there in Australia. So we go into qualifying. There's still some time in the board as you see one of the cars, I think from my listening, he's probably driving a Huracan GT3. There you go. I'm good with these things, you know. I gotta give a little bit of brush on my shoulders because I felt this was going to be the Huracan Evo 2. Good representation of the cars in the track. But I can see the lonely Huracan over here, driven by Seminara, which we already have a few supporters here on our YouTube chat. Yes, we can read your live chat at the bottom of your screen right here. And a few Ferrari 296 GT3s also in the track, probably driven by Leandro Lucas Verle, also Alessandro Peixoto, and also Diego Villarreal. Leo Mora is actually driving the car. Diego is driving a McLaren 720S GT3 with Santiago Barrios also. I think Kazakurta is driving a BMW M3 GT3, even though I don't like the front grille. And is Nico Godoy driving a Nissan? Is that my imagination or I'm going crazy?
No, that is a Nissan. Godoy and the Nissan. We don't really see it often. Actually, not even in iRacing. So it's pretty much almost off this planet at this point. And here's the onboard and on the camera as well, as it's required now in AMX. good to see that was required, because it gives it a bit more of an idea of who we're watching, and the ladies and gentlemen can get a bit of an idea while Ferrari's just pulled over to the side of the road. But we're going to go back to the pits there. But it's weird being back in the commentary box. I haven't been here for a week, but I feel like I'm already rusting up already. But riding aboard, and he's pole position at the moment with a 153.8. Lorenzo, do you have much experience with ACC? Because I feel like I'm a bit of a noob at this. I feel like it's probably the best way to describe myself at ACC.
I drove a few times. I drove a few entrances back in Brazil, in Brazilian leagues when I was actually living in Brazil. But nowadays, yep. I am pretty much stuck with iRacing. I think, just like you, Connor. I think we're iRacing savants rather than ACC. Don't get me wrong, I like ACC. I like the, watching from time to time all those series that normally has not only here in AMX, but also, for example, the Fan Attack GT World Challenge esports. They do have that. It's some really good races in other leagues all around the globe, and it truly brings that try to bring that professional feeling of being in the race car, trying to be a professional race car driver. I know GTTC I think also has esports as well, so it's good to know for representation. No seminar is not satisfying with a little bit of a wiggle down into the final hairpin. Doesn't improve on his lap though. 155 is the time for Lucas Verley, one half of the Verley brothers, if I remember correctly, his brother, other brother Leandro, was actually driving DTM Esports on Friday, if I remember correctly. It's either him or Lucas. I know he's one of the both. But anyway, if you have to pick one car out of the bunch, which one is your favorite?
I'm a bit of a Beamer man, so I'm going to go the Beamer. I know it's a bit, cliche, but I feel like it's the Beamer's got a bit of a soft spot in my heart, but it'd probably be a BMW or a Mercedes. I mean, Mercedes is probably the car of my choice if it wasn't in this or if it was in this field, but it'd be probably the Beamer. Riding on board with Leo Morel.
Really?
And the Mercedes, I feel like I'm a bit of a nerd to it. I think that the big V8, I think that kind of brings me back to the motherland of Australia. Riding aboard though, and this is a very familiar car. We see this car a lot in iRacing these days. This is the brand new Ferrari, which is with a V6, the 296, if I've got that correct. It's either 296 or a 269. So I got it right.
No, it's 296. 296.
Okay, I'm glad I was right on the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on the roll tonight. So riding aboard, and we can see the leader right behind us as well. Leo Morale, we see him in iRacing, and Nico.
Good man.
On point tonight. I'm absolutely on point tonight. But riding aboard, and this is the Nissan we were talking about, the Godzilla, which, mate, I feel like you've I'm sure you're a bit of a fan of the Godzilla.
Mate, I've been Team Godzilla ever since the car, I think, made its debut. Wow, to the lack of a better word, I probably didn't go. I didn't want to go outside of PG, but I was going to say, I think the GTR came out in 2007. That's the first time I've seen the GTR.
I feel like because you had the old ones back in the day, like your R33s, then R34s, which I feel like were 90s, but I could be wrong, unless it was very early 2000s, which I feel like, see, I can't comment on it because I was born in 2004, so I feel really, really, really young when I talk about like that era. I'm like, yeah, I'm too young to be in this conversation.
I feel you. I feel you, man. It's like for those who don't know, I'm 32. I'm 32, so I'm old. So don't get me wrong, people. The age will show itself eventually from time to time. But I was actually right. The GTR, actually, the first GTR ever came out in December 2007. But the models actually came out with the 2009 because they wanted to postpone the production a little bit so they can also meet the GT1 regulations when they brought out the car, and eventually also the GT3 when they made the GT1 become the GT3 that went down the line and won the Bathurst 12 hours, I think, in 2015. And I cannot remember if it went to 2016, but I think the car broke down. But anyway, you probably know this better than I do.
I remember the Bathurst one, like, that always sticks in my head. I feel like when you talk about Bathurst 12 hour, it always just, always circles back to that 2015, 2016 era, which is a time when I wasn't watching GT3 racing, but it was like, you had the brand new Audi R8, you had the Nissan GTR, you had the Bentley, like, I just remember that era being one of my favourite because you had the Nissan, the Bentley and the Audi, which I'm a bit of an Audi fan as well. It must be just all German cars, I love them. But yeah, like now you just don't have Bentley and Nissan, and it's just a bit weird. I find, like, when they had that last year Bentley, it was like, oh, that's kind of it. And I don't know if we'll ever see them again, but yeah, bit of a shame for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sad to see not seeing the Bentley being represented. The Bentley actually is the Bentley Continental GT3, which is a little bit of a surprise. We see Assetto Corsa, I think, nice guitars in the background of the Brazilian driver, driving with the team WRT number 46 Valentino Rossi's livery on that BMW M3. I think is your favorite one. Here, Connor, despite the hideous grill and the look, but the one thing I can talk about, because we're not seeing so many times go up and down the board over here, I think it's kind of like well stagnated, despite being in the middle. There's a good battle in the middle between Barrios, Villarreal, Moura, and Godoy, because Curta as well. What happens in my point of view is that it's one of the hardest laps for you to get that little perfect lap right, because there's so many places in the track, there's so many different braking grooves and lines that it's hard for you to nail that perfect lap on, right? So for example, turn number one, it's simple on its outlook, but it's hard for you to get the braking right, to get the apex, make sure the car doesn't bottom out during the transition of the high portion of the track into the flat portion of the track down in the inside, where it kind of like dips down a little bit and then goes up the crest, a small crest into the arena. Then this hair, you go into the Valvoline and four curves, which you can lose a little bit of time. Then go down into every corner in this track is not easy because there are so many different lines you can take, but there's only one optimal line. I think there's only one optimal line for you to take this track and be fast in.
Yeah, I think I've done some laps around here. Like, I'm one of these people that when I go, I haven't done many laps. It's probably, not over 100 or 200 laps. So I feel like I feel like I should never comment, but it's one of these tracks where it's a pain in the butt, because like you're saying, like every corner just has that little difference, in that groove. And I find with this track, if you're just out of that groove, like you were saying as well, if you're out of that groove just that tiny little bit, it just feels like the car's a little off, or you're losing pace a little bit. And it's a pain to go, okay, where am I losing time? And it's probably only a couple of mils that you're living every now and then, and you'll be like, okay, that's annoying. And then you've just got to be on the limit all the time. And I guess as racers, you've got to be on that limit, but it's always been, it's always scary being on that limit. You've got a point where you know where the grip is, right? You've always got that circle of going, right, here's the grip and I want to stay in here. But you've got to always go outside of that circle and venture for that grip, because obviously we're all, we all like to go fast, and there'll always be one person that will be a little bit faster, and you're like, right, time to put my foot down a little bit more. So but this is definitely what these guys are doing right now. And how many minutes we've got? 3 minutes actually. Sorry.
I think Barrios actually have a fast lap, arguably. Now you can see he basically, just burned up with the tires a little bit. Trying to get him up into optimal temperature. Here he goes for the launch line, as I think he went into a wide line into the final hairpin. Now you're gonna see. Look at the 100-meter board, effectively break down into turn number 1. Do not attack aggressively inside turn number 1, otherwise the car dips. You gotta kind of like just flick the car around to the right and then bring it into turn number 2. In 3, it's kind of like a double left-hander, which you kind of have to clip that corner appropriately as we go back to Seminara. Seminara is already on a fast lap, might be an improvement on his lap as he goes around Wilson curve, and you can see the semblant on Seminara's perspective. Very chill from what it looks like for the Italian, as he's been the sole dominant guy in qualifying. Only Verlet is in the same second as the Italian is, but you can see the attacking, try to attack as much as he can the curb being to turn number 1, and now going for the launch lap around Nürburgring. I think this might be the final lap for basically everybody. You might not get a second lap in, so interested to see Seminara is going to be able to get that time down to the ball.
Yeah, it looks like Seminara is going around again. He's got 2 minutes, so he should be okay. He should be alright to get one in. So this was probably the lap where he's going to just go absolute monkey brain and just go full to the wall now, because he's already got a lap time down. He's 9/10 in front. He doesn't really have much of the competition really close to him at the moment, so maybe he could just push that a little bit more. So I'd say on this lap he's going to push more than what he did for the last couple of laps, coming out of the bigger arena and now back onto the little straight here and up to their little hairpin. But yeah, I feel like he's got this gap now where he can just push a little bit more, and you can see here, it's nice and deep there, Lorenzo.
Yeah, nice attack line through the Dunlop hairpin right here. Now attacking early the curb on the outside of the Michael Schumacher S, try to stick the car as inside in the curbing within the limits it can be towards the Michael Schumacher S. That was a really good line, apparently an effective line. Gotta avoid, burning out the rears over here, otherwise the car loses a little bit of power and the traction control comes in and lose a lot of time. And effectively out of the build sign curves, only 4 corners to go for the Italian. 1 corner down, you still have the chicane, left hand side, right hand side, 38 seconds on the board, left still. Let's see if the Italian is gonna go on an aggressive angle. A little bit of a wiggle. Massive save as he aborts the lap. Basically, he knows his lap is done.
Goes again. I could be wrong, but it did look like he set up for a run to go for another lap. But how was that last chicane? Just straight over it. Did not care.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nico Godoy here. Big Godzilla, and that's qualifying wrapped up.
Yeah, they still have about a full minute left in the board, but I don't think that we're going to see a lot of improvements down in qualifying. So I think we can dabble on and really interesting qualifying. Like we said, Connor, not the easiest lap for you to get a lap in. Obviously, the next race in AMX 10 we're going to be talking about is a little bit harder in terms of difficulty, to put it mildly, right? Than this one, but. Yep. Racing, I think, in the middle of this pack is going to prove to be more interesting than anything else. The whole field is not wholly separated. You had Barrios, you had Godoy, you had Casacuerta, you had Peixoto right there. It's going to be an interesting one. As we see a few of the comments, as ACC looks better than iRacing. Yeah, I'll agree. It is really good shots. I love ACC, despite, sometimes showcasing that Unreal Engine thingy of it. But the outlets on the outside. There you go. Outside the lines coming in as Seminara with a pole position. Barely 154.750. Barrios in third place. Laumora in fourth. Diego Villarreal in fifth. Nico Godoy in sixth. Rafael Casacuta in seventh. And then Alexandre Peixoto, which is V Racing MG, is in eighth place here in the track, Connor.
Yeah, it's finished up qualifying, and you were talking about Bathurst there for a second. I got a couple of tingles there. I was getting too excited, but getting to the race, and it should be a nice little race here. Eight cars. We always seen AMX1. I find that the smaller the field, the racing is actually almost better in a way, because all the guys are like, okay, we can kind of actually race hard and not have heaps of cars just barreling down to turn one. So I think the guys like try and battle a little bit more, and it's good to watch. Should be a good little race to watch.
Should be a good race to watch. I think this, like I said before, this battle for the potential outside places of the podium should be proven an interesting one as we look into some of the other shots from the mountains and forest of Nürburgring. You see that castle right there? That castle we're going to be driving closely real soon in about... Let me just grab my watch. Right now it's 7:18 over here in Portugal. I would estimate, give or take 12 hours until... Not 12 hours, 22 hours when the new update comes out on April 1st. Yeah, it looks like April Fool's, but it is an April Fool's joke, Connor. Nordschleife is coming, real life and virtual. We're finally going to be able to see the long-awaited debut of the full layout into Assetto Corsa Competizione.
Yeah, it was quite interesting finally seeing that in the social media posts. It was like, oh wow, it's finally coming. You always hear about the ACC guys never having the proper Nürburg ring, and it's almost like, these guys should have had it from day one because it's Fanatec GT World backed, but the guys just never got it. So it must be pretty exciting for these guys to finally get the big Nordschleife. But for now, we're gonna have to watch the GP, and who knows? Maybe in the next AMX ACC race we might have Nordschleife. But anyway, Lorenzo, take it away, mate.
Yeah, as the cars come down the final corner, we're gonna have our race start as soon as they go down the BMW bridge. We're gonna have our green flag here anytime soon. There you go, green flag is on. We're on for 40 minutes here in Nürburgring as the Seminara is already defending that inside line. The Brazilian Lucas Verle is already covering the inside, trying to go for a potential move coming into turn number one. This is the main point of danger for everybody. Near contact between Verle and Seminara, but the Italian survives the ordeal while Barrios manages to retain third position from Diego Villarreal, who actually got a massive jump from first all the way down into fifth, fourth. Actually now losing fourth place to Laumora, but has to come back around. Just mind the rejoin and don't crash out the other cars, as now Nico Godoy is right behind him on that lovely looking Moto RJN Nissan GTR.
Yeah, running on with Diego here. We see him in iRacing quite a bit, and he's swapped over. This is the second time I've seen him on the ACC platform, and he's just going to try and catch up to Madoyle here. I've probably buggered that again, but catching up to the Ferrari and straight back up to the front. And it was a good little battle up to the front for the starting of the race. Nice little battle with two wide, and it looked like the leader just pulled away there nice and easy, and not many troubles at all. Running on board with Leo here there, and then going all the way to the back, and we've seen this battle straight up the inside goes the Beamer. Rafael straight up the inside and takes that position away from the Ferrari. And you were saying about the livery before. I'm starting to get accustomed to it. It's very nice.
It's nice looking, especially it's kind of unique looking when we go into the Fanatec GT Road Challenge. And also, if I remember, European Challenge as well. they kind of race this livery. But and for those who just asked, yeah, this is the Valentino Rossi livery when he joined WRT in the previous season. I think that's is a 2022 livery, 22, 22, 23 livery. Then when he joined WRT, his first lap is closed, 37 minutes and 45 seconds on the board. The gap between Seminara and Verli up to basically 1.6 seconds as the Italian driving kind of like smoothly against the Brazilian, and the gap kind of like forms from Verli to Barrios, Barrio to Mora, Mora to Villarreal, Godoy as well, not far behind, being able to follow the suit of the McLaren 720S of the Uruguayan from Team SART or Team SART. So still calm race to start. That's what we want to see. A really calm start, and looking forward to see if the remainder of the race those tires can be kept within the top optimal temperature. We don't see any spins and maybe some potential battles down in the track.
Yeah, we've got that mandatory pit stop as well, so that should bring a little bit of excitement through the race. Riding on Cam here, car's going straight by, and here's the Ferrari driver, the Brazilian Lucas, who's just not too far away, 2 seconds away from the leader, which the Italian in that Lamborghini is absolute flying. 2 seconds already in one lap is pretty impressive. So he's really stretching his legs already, and we saw from that lap time being 9/10 faster in qualifying is such an amazing lap. So not massing like a massive shock, but yeah, definitely fast out there, riding on board with Leo here, and right on the back of the McLaren, which Boss is here. And just going straight through the chicanes, and just came out of the Schumacher S's a couple of seconds ago. Well, I mean ages ago, and finally onto the last corner here, and straight past the start-finish line.
Yeah, as they close down the second lap, 35 minutes and 50 to go, and this is the closest battle we have on the track. As Moda at least jumps on the brakes a little bit early, late actually, just overshoots the corner a little bit, loses some gap to the Argentinian from Team Start ahead of him, and the Brazilian Canadian is going to lose some time in the process. It's going to allow Diego Villarreal to come in, but I don't think he's going to be any action range whatsoever to get closer to that Ferrari 296 GT3 as they get out of the Mercedes arena, going to Ford and Valvoline for one more time, and somehow, someway, them being able to break away as well from Nico Godoy. Nico with the glorious boat that is called the Nissan GTR has not been able to follow suit, as the gap now widens from Seminara to Verli up to 3.2 seconds. The Italian, just relaxing another Sunday drive for the Italian. And eventually, I think he has the fastest lap the rest. Yeah, he does. And so far, getting that perfect $29 in the bank.
Yeah, he looks pretty comfortable for those $29. If I was him, I'd have a huge grin on my face and just waving and saying goodbye into the distance. And yeah, it definitely looks like he's pretty confident with the car. And yeah, like you said, he's got the fastest lap, and he's just pulled away an absolute margin and a half. So riding on board with Vreal here, which like I said before, he's oh no, straight up to P3, and right on board with the McLaren, which is actually getting caught by Leo at the moment, which just talking about this battle before. So this I reckon this might be the battle for a bit. Actually, this is a three-way battle. My apologies. So this is actually going to heat up probably pretty shortly. Just seen Leo just gap him in a little bit.
No, I'm going to bring it up lane. And Nico, yeah.
Sorry, I just apologies, you go.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Nico making his pit stop like you just said. I think that's an early pit stop, If there's one thing that is on our right now is the pit window. I think it is open already, so you can actually do your pit stop right now, and you're basically dead set until the end of the race. And sometimes, these undercuts can actually work. Then let's see if it's going to work for there's a good livery, like I said before, Team Sport Moto RJN GT3. Looking forward to see when the new Nissan Z, the GT3, actually is going to come into real racing. I think the Nissan Z might be coming actually at spot 24. That's a rumor debut, but if not, it's going to come to Super GT. If not this year, later in the year. But have you ever taken pictures of the GT3 new Nissan?
Yeah, okay. I didn't even hear about the new Nissan coming to GT3, so that's quite exciting actually, because we haven't seen Nissan in the realm of GT3 for a very long time. I mean, it feels like it when it's probably only been a year or two out of the game, but yeah, it should be nice them finally come back into the manufacturing, ordeal. The rest of the cars obviously being Porsche, Lamborghini, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, BMW. I mean, there's quite a few when you really say it out loud, but yeah, it should be good to bring another manufacturer into it. I mean, it's always that rival we see in the manufacturers to, race on Sunday, sell on Monday almost. We find in these GT3s now. So it's one of these things where, like I said right at the start, was a lot of pro racing car drivers are going to GT3 because the manufacturing is such a large thing over there compared to a lot of sports now. Just see the correction from Diego there. And but yeah, it's good to see the manufacturers being very good at the moment in GT3s.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to let you guys know, the Nissan Z doesn't have a GT3 version per se. There's been rumors of it, some pictures of it, and apparently there's some internal testing to see if they can convert the car to a GT3. There's also rumors they were making maybe a special car or a new car for GT3, but I think it's going to be based upon the Z platform that is already racing on GT500, that is actually won, if I remember correctly, the last season, not season, but the 2022 Super GT season, when it actually got debuted by the Calsonic. That's the last time, and actually the Calsonic team drove before it became the Morale car, as we have issues around the track for Peixoto.
Something's happened there.
Out.
Just jumped out of the car, as we've seen. Just pulled over. From the looks of it, watching his camera on the.
From Peixoto.
Yeah, just looked like he was like, yeah. I mean, he's at a good little spot there. He, we had Godoy do the pit stop, so he wasn't last at all. So I wonder if he's had something pop up maybe. Running on board with our leader though.
Yeah.
4 seconds a gap at the moment though.
Yeah, absolutely. As Seminara is breaking away right now, and everybody else looks like it as well. Verley gap apparently looks to be 11 seconds on Barrios, and Barrios found a way from what it looks to get away from La Mora and Diego Villarreal. I think we're not going to have a lot of battles around the track, but just wrapping up a thought, the Nissan Z only races in this GT500 and GT4. They actually have a GT4 that races in figure categories in Japan in the Super Taikyu series. He actually made his debut in 2023 in the Michelin Pilot Challenge GT4 America Series. I just wonder when he's going to make his debut in Europe and eventually Australia as well.
Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, right. I must be so out of the loop when it comes to GT3 then. That's insane. I watch INSA every now and then, and I'm like, oh yeah, watch the the 24-hour Daytona or the 12-hour. Here's the replay or the incident actually. Stop car on track. Yeah, it just looks like pulls over, and we'll see the tow here. Just getting it. Yeah, getting out of the car. But yeah.
Wow.
Running on board with Lucas though. P2.
Yeah, as we still have a few racing left. I think this is probably going to be more decided on the pit stops. And I kind of expected this, to be very honest with you, Connor, that we could potentially would have this breakaway from the pack of sorts, because it's, like we said before, not an easy track for you to qualify, not an easy track for you to race on. It's a hard track. It's one of the most challenging. It's Peixoto having one more issue, and I think might be a technical issue from the Brazilian. Unfortunate to see that happen, but we kind of expected this gap to be built up, you know, and to be kind of a large of sorts. We hoped that the battle for top 3 would be really close, but it is not eventually, because how the different cars drive. It is a different cars, different, you know, physics and everything. The tires, they're very hard for you to maintain proper, you know, optimal temperature and pressure over here. So unfortunate to see that happen, but that's racing.
That's it. I think it's, yeah, it looks like technical difficulties, because yeah, he did try to get back out there, but yeah, it must be something going on with the sim there. Maybe a PC issue, which highly likely. I found that my computer actually struggled to run ACC, but iRacing, yeah, technical issue in the bottom right, which, as we can see. So yeah, it looks like it could be a wheel issue actually. No, don't know.
Looks like a wheel issue.
Yeah, it could be actually. But yeah, I mean yeah, it's unfortunate though when you have a wheel issue though. It's not an easy fix. It's yeah, send it back to the manufacturer, and it takes 2 weeks to get back, which I've had problems before. It's not fun.
I know what you mean. This is, at least I cannot be concerned. I'm not gonna say cannot be bothered. I gotta say I gotta be thankful that I have a Logitech G920 over here, G29 actually. So not the most strong looking wheel, you know. It doesn't give the most feedback, right?
Yeah, I mean it's reliable as hell though. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You know, it gives my bang for the buck, right? It's the best by a whole margin in terms of cost benefit for other drivers, especially if you're not a beginner. Don't get me wrong, my iRating is decent-ish. I'm running at 3400s. It was 4K, but not anymore. Retirement stuff. As let's see if Peixoto is going to be able to get the car back. It doesn't look like his Moza. He's actually configuring his Moza. You're not going to be able to see because you're looking through his 3 monitors. He's taking a wheel away. Okay, now he's bringing the Formula rim into it. Is the firmware? This could be a firmware issue. I've seen this before from Moza from time to time. Not saying that Moza bad stuff. Actually, it is one of the most biggest represented brands in Brazil. Actually. They have an official store, but apparently the firmware is not properly recognizing the wheel.
Yeah, it looks... Oh, hang on, he's got first gear.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Okay, I wonder if he's actually got no down changed. We'll listen to the car here for a second. Oh, and he's got gears, so that's good. Okay, so
yeah, I think he was just leaving more away.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was a yeah, I was going to say I was wondering if it was more of a I think he's got the indicator on. Just on the back. Yeah, the indicator's on the back of the right of the car. I don't really see that in iRacing, so that's quite funny to me just to watch, because I've seen there's a setting that you can have indicators, which are quite hilarious to me. But yeah, I thought he didn't have down change at all, but looks like he's all good and running back on track. So looks like he's got the issue all sorted out back in the P4 though. Leo just running around, and he's got a nice little gap here between P3 and P5. Bit of a interesting spot he is in at the moment, because if he backs off a little bit, Varel is right there behind, and he's not gonna. I guess he wouldn't give him any mercy if he got any closer. That's for sure. So still needs to keep that foot nice and pinned, and just drive around, really.
Yeah, just properly chilling around the track, as we can see Diego Villarreal right there, struggling with the McLaren, and you know, this is why I think it's really interesting, right? It's the cars are different, you know. The racing is always good and providing, as we're seeing. I think Mora is a lap down, but actually just put up a one proper lap, to be very to put it mildly. So that's the good stuff to know. We're still seeing good racing, some proper chases around the track. I think Mora lost some ground, as we're gonna look at Villarreal. 7 seconds separates them. But to add assault to injuries on Peixoto's problems in the car on that 52, you can just see right in front. Yassel has a drive-through. I think he spat on pit lane from what it looked like.
Oh no. I think I reckon he just hasn't put the pit limiter on. That he's trying to sort out his gear midway out of the pits probably. Yeah, that's unfortunate though. Just a little bit of hardware issues, which honestly we don't see often really in sim racing. Blue flag symbol coming up there on the side of the track, but yeah, you don't really see that often. I find you don't really you hear about it, but you never see it on a stream wall. Yeah, they're just wrestling the car on exit there, and I reckon you were saying he's wrestling the McLaren. You were definitely not wrong about that one.
Yeah, I wonder how the Honda would perform here nowadays.
I would say pretty good. I would say it'd be up there.
And because
that was close.
That was close. As if you're gonna give space to another driver, you're gonna give him a toe. Don't. All right, I'm not gonna call him out and things like that. Of course, he's 5 laps down on everybody, so he eventually has to give way. But don't try to give way on the racing line. Just a little heads up to everybody. No, if you safe is good from time to time. As everybody has to, basically everybody bar the Nico Godoy have to pit. I think Peixoto is coming into the pit lane as well. So finally being able to come in. You can see someone on the side grabbing something right there. Just hope it isn't any refreshments that can make him stay in the race, as he's probably having some fun in the track. That's what matters the most. As long as you have fun, right? Connor, doesn't matter if you're first or last, that's what matters the most. Just no pressure. Try to have as much fun as you can potentially have, and focus on doing what you try to do best. And he got disqualified.
That's interesting.
Oh, interesting. I've never seen that.
Is there incident points in this? I see. I'm that close with that. ACC.
No. Did he? All right. Bear with me. I could be wrong. I think he spat on the pit lane again.
That would The game's probably like, you need to do a drive-through, but don't get spinning in pits on top of that. So obviously it's kicked him out, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it looks like that's the games or the simulator. Sorry, I don't want to offend anyone. I've said that before in a forum, and it didn't go down well. But yeah, it seems like the Sims kicked him out.
Yeah, if there's one thing that ACC kind of like prides on is being a little bit more restrictive on drivers. As you can see, Godoy is already on the pit limiter, very early pit limiter for the Argentinian as he comes into his pit service to maybe potentially just put some fuel in the car. As you can see, he's sneezing. and just being ready to go for his second sim. 4 seconds was the gap for him to Leon Water right there, as I think he's gonna lose a few spots, but maybe gonna conquer this spot after his pit stop is done, as Villarreal is coming in as well.
Yeah, this could be interesting, because last time I was commentating ACC, we noticed that sometimes people would have a very lengthy pit stop from taking tyres accidentally or taking a little bit too much fuel, as usual stuff we find. But sometimes in the settings you've got to flick through a few pages in ACC, so it's quite interesting for Al just having to back up there too. I think he went a little too far forward, and he's just fixed up there. So now sitting in the box, just waiting for his car to go. And it looked like the difference in pit stop was a lot shorter there with the other McLaren there. So that was kind of interesting. So he's still in the pit stop, still.
I think it is that difference of, spending your time in the pit lane, right? Some of them actually go for a, refueling strategy, try to have the car as light as you can. Others try to put the car into the full 40 minutes. And then when they come to the pit stop, they put a little dab on the fuel or something like it to come into the race itself. That happens from time to time. So it goes from user to user, but like you said, I think that was a very slow pit stop from Villarreal. A little bit of a mistake from Barrios coming outside of Bilstein Curva right there, but still on track. That's what matters the most.
Yeah, for sure. He's just mowing the lawn a little bit. That's all it is. But still going strong though. So after pit stop P5, so still doing decent laps as well. I don't have any telemetry up, but I do need to fix that. That's my apologies. But still running around pretty well. And this is probably his time to catch the leaders a little bit, because he's got obviously stopping in the pits. The tyres can cool down a little bit and go again. So he should have a little bit of extra grip, but they could be a little bit cold. So could be a little bit more grip or a little bit less of grip. So either either, and I'd probably say less at the moment, but I'd say when they are not dead freezing cold, should have a little bit more grip.
Yeah, one thing that I've learned through my wow, it's been 86 years, like someone in Titanic would say. But through my time trying this sim, I nearly said game, otherwise I would have a whole army of people wringing down my neck. But one of the interesting things about this sim is extremely reliant on pressure, right? The tire pressure in here is key. You need to know how to set the car, hence the game Assetto Corsa, that makes the game try to have a performance that optimizes the tire pressure to be within 27 psi. If you go outside 27 psi, then you are in a little bit of trouble. But if you maintain within the 27 range, where they consider the optimal range for GT3 cars, you're pretty much okay. You're gonna do fast laps.
Yeah, I mean, iRacing, we find like yourself and me, that we find that we don't need to touch those tire pressures. We kind of just set and forget almost, or not even that. We just adjust the dampeners and some springs and some pitch, and we're pretty much ready to go. But it seems like in Assetto Corsa they've made it like you said with that tire pressure. So it's quite interesting between the two, and but I'm sure it'd be a completely different simulator when it comes to setting up a car as well. Nice and deep on the brakes there, riding on board with Boris here, and yeah, but we see the differences, and it's quite interesting to sit here and talk about them as we are now. And is this a battle for on track? I think
Fourth.
could be
Yeah,
actually.
battle for fourth position. So we're gonna look into Barrios, come down, looking on the inside on the Dunlop curve, on the Dunlop hairpin. Kazakurta just staying into that inside lane, not even bother with the Argentinian from Team Sarge right behind. As you can see, the back bumper of the BMW showcasing the front grille and the on the front bumper, also the McLaren 720S GT3 from the Argentinian. They're coming to Ravenel right now, looking on the inside. The Argentinian is not going to be able to make the move. Now we got Bilstein. Bilstein, you need if you have a good exit, then maybe you can try to do something on the AGK chicane. There you go. They're going to go down into Ivan Bogan. As Kazakurta already going defensive on that inside line, and the Argentina have to go the outside look. Goes it again. Goes one more time. Not being able to make the overtake work. He's going to lose a lot of time. This is going to just make things more complicated for him. I think he's going to lose basically a full second or two over here trying to go over the Brazilian, and might actually benefit Lel Mota once he comes down in the pit lane, because he's actually pitting his car. It's just a matter of where this motor comes out in the pits.
Yeah, Mora, I'd say, I think Mora might be in. No, I think he's still in the pit lane. Never mind. But
yeah, it's in the pits.
Yeah, and there he goes. There, we just saw him leave there in the background. Here we go. Stop on box, and there we go. Valentino Rossi's pride and joy car, which we've seen Valentino Rossi go deep into GT3s recently, or when I say recently, the last year or two. It was a bit of a shock to the whole world when we saw him in a GT3. It was definitely a shock to me, but it looks like everyone's loving him in racing though, in cars. It's kind of weird when you go. It's a guy that's highly competitive in a motorbike, can come to a race car and then be pretty much the same level, just, you know, very, very good at anything really with an engine, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. While you're surprised on that end, I think in my point of view, I'm not that wholly surprised, right? Due to the fact that when he tested, I think the AF 2004, right? When he put the car around the track, I think his qualifying time was just 1 second slower than I think what Barrichello did in his pole lap in Monza. So I remember if it is in that car or not. If anybody in the YouTube chat want to go and take a look at me, as Kazakurta have a little bit of a issue as well coming out of the pit lane. That's a very long pit stop for the Brazilian, and he's finding himself in the. Yeah, maybe forgot to confirm or something like that. It happens from time to time. I actually had this issue once in an ACC race, and he's not satisfied. Completely not satisfied. But coming back, when he made his debut for WRT, Verle just aggressively attacks the curbing. It didn't surprise me. I think he was always due to come into four-wheel racing, and the question is how big would be, you know, the learning gap to go to four-wheel racing. But it's been always on that end of, you know, trying to learn those things. But obviously you can argue that he's probably the most complete racer, or one of the most complete racers ever in the history of motorsport. More so than probably potentially like guys like Jackie X, Bruce McLaren, Sterling Moss, because for you to be highly successful in MotoGP, I think you're the second winniest, if not the winniest, motorbike rider well, maybe Marquez could dispute that title, or maybe I think someone else. I'm trying to remember. I think it's Andy Junieto maybe that could challenge this, but and go to GT3 racing and also be successful in it. Of course, he hasn't won a championship yet. He hasn't won in Fanatec GT or Challenge or something like that. Is something to be noteworthy for.
Yeah, for sure. I think you've nailed it there. Like, I think as overall, I think he's just just been this driver that, you know, is not dominated, but, you know, just been so successful. And I think it's great just to watch on TV and see the car, you know, his livery getting around. So it's kind of cool to see his car go around and mention that. So it's a very good topic to get on, and for sure, it was a good little chat about that. Flashing the headlights though, saying hello. And straight through Schumacher says, "Oh, he's off in the dirt. Oh, he's got onto it. He's all good. He's holding onto it. Gave us a cheeky smile.
We saw that.
Making us laugh in the commentary box, which yeah, I think I need it at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's definitely very valid. Meanwhile, the Italian out in front, though, is this is just a dominating performance at the moment. 17 laps in, 9 seconds worth of a lead. He's only got 6 minutes to go, which is roughly about 3 to 4 laps. So he's very close to the finish, and on a Thrustmaster wheel too. You don't really see a Thrustmaster getting around too many, or not at all, really, in my circle of friends. It's always Moser or SimiCube or somewhere around those lines, or Fanatec. So yeah, good to see the trusty Thrustmaster. We were talking about trusty gear, full circle moment there, and that's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to see a Thrustmaster from what it looks like. That doesn't look to be the TGT Thrustmaster. TGT.
That looks like
that is the tree.
A 300 maybe? I'm thinking 300 maybe, just from the base.
Yeah, I think that looks to be the 300S from what it looks like. But good reliable gear nevertheless. I think it's a little bit more powerful than the G29 I think is from the Fanatec, but it's good to know that some people dabble around with that gear. Like you said, I think nowadays in sim racing, obviously top flight sim racing, like top level sim racing, it's rare for you to see a G29, a T300, a CSW. I had a CSW prior to coming back to the G29 when I literally had to move to Portugal. As Assetto Corsa has a bit of an issue on his pit stop again.
That's
now
a second pit stop.
Yeah. And apparently he hasn't found his box. No, he didn't have to stop and go. I think he's just having issues trying to stop his car. Looking for to see if there's any potential solutions. But coming back to, I think nowadays. Oh no.
I was going to say, I think, remember last time we saw him, he was I don't think he actually did a pit stop at all. I think he just sat there and then he's went around for a lap just to figure out if there's something wrong in the I'm going to call it black box, maybe just to change. So yeah, a bit weird, but it's another position for these other drivers though, which is unfortunate, but you got to take these little wins, don't you?
Yeah, it's this win and losses that you sometimes have on the track. It is what it is. You cannot dabble way too much around. That's the complicated stuff with Assetto Corsa. You do your pit stop and you have to confirm the pit stop. And if you don't have the MFD mapped out, then it's going to become an issue. I've had these issues before. I think Seminaris might be actually coming into his pit stop for right now. I think Verle is going to do the same thing as we speak. So the Italian is going to come. I think as soon as he crosses the white line right there, bam, he has to actually be within the 50-kilometer threshold and get ready for his pit stop. I just hoping that the Italian confirms this stuff, like you said before. Fanatics, Trustmasters. Now you see Simicube, Simagics, what else? VRSs, you name it.
Yeah, VRS.
A lot of different brands. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I use the Simicube, and yeah, you see these people. I mean, I've been dabbling some oval recently, and yeah, you see people in these like Logitechs kicking your butt, and you're like, oh, that's a bit depressing, isn't it? But you know, it's all driver. It's I can't knock my gear, so normally that'd be the first excuse, but no, it's mainly driver, and yeah, these guys are showing it's definitely driver at the moment. And their pit stop getting done very nice and quickly. They weren't messing around at all. We saw some issues there before, but these top guys definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. As he comes back into the track, there you go, Lucas Verley, not wasting a lot of time. And like I said before, this is the thing, you know, you just put the full fuel to the race, you just stay like for one tiny second in the pit stop, you come back. That's what Seminara has done, that's what Verley has done, and still keep it consistent. That's what matters the most. As Verley, I think, also drove the Fanatec GT America, if I remember correctly. He qualified for that about a year or two ago. I think his brother actually did it with another Brazilian driver, if I remember. It might have been Keiko Oliveira, and there's another Brazilian that is actually on the top drive for Williams. As Peixoto having one more issue with his Moza. Unfortunate to see that.
Is that an Allen key I can see?
Yeah. My Guyverisms of sim racing right now happening on the track.
He's fully taken apart, which yeah, it's unfortunate. It could just be a software issue, which yeah, it's always a killer. I had computer issues, and it seemed that it was a software issue, which I felt like an absolute dummy when I figured it out. But yeah, software is always the killer. But here we go, last lap for the Italian, and he's just gonna absolutely bring this home with an easy. Is that a lap? No, 12 seconds, but he's got to finish this lap. But he's pulled out a second since the pit stop, so he's really just nailing this track and this car combo. He's really showing us who's boss around here, and that's for sure.
Absolutely, showcasing the colors of that green, blue, and yellow. You can basically, you know, mistake for a Brazilian S livery, but unfortunately he's from Italy. Anyway, as we still have about halfway into the track, as he drove up basically half of the track. After Dunlap's basically half the track done, he just have the back stretch now to be able to do. Michael Schumacher S. Left hand side easily, right hand side bam, as you can click the car to the right hand side. Now we got Ravenel, Bilstein, and GK Chicane, and the final corner. You can kind of consider Advent Bogan as well. So instead of like being 5 corners to go, you have now 5 corners to go, 4 corners to go. Advent Bogan right there in front of you. That will be then 1 second. That is 3. Nice and easy for the Italian here, Connor. Then 2 more corners after this. There you go, left hand side, right hand side. Just did not jinx into the curbing itself and throw the car off. Final corner for the Italian, Simone Seminara. Nice and easy, a little bit of a wiggle coming out of the corner just to celebrate another win here at AMX 1. Wins Simone Seminara here at Virtual Nürburgring GP.
Yeah, absolutely nailed that race circuit here. Here comes Lucas coming across the line in P2. Great little P2 there. And yeah, good reputation from the sounds of it, as you were talking before with the big esports in ACC. Should keep my eye on it, actually. I feel like I don't. I watched James Baldwin do all his ACC stuff. But, oh, huge sneeze. Oh, cough, sneeze. There we go.
Oh, don't crash the car, though. I think he's going to be able to finish the car right on set. 2 more corners, 1 more corner. Now for Santiago Barrios, as the Argentinian is going to come around the final corner and finish P3. So there's our podium. Seminara, Verli, and Barrios will be our podium here at Nürburgring GP. You're going to get our results immediately here, Connor. Like we said before, Mr. Simone Seminara is going to be our race winner, with the Brazilian Lucas Verli in 2nd place. I think he's still racing for Snow Shattered while being at our notch competition as well from time to time. We're going to get those results for you on screen on a short bit. Just bear with us because there are still a few other drivers on the track doing their laps, rounding out their final lap, final corners, final lap at Nürburgring. But Connor, I think we're going to be talking really quickly. Not the most action-packed race we've seen in AMX one, but there you go. Now there's results on Seminara, Verli, Barrios, Moda, Doi, Villarreal, Casa Curta, and Alessandro Peixoto being your 8 drivers here at Nürburgring after 21 laps.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was we had heaps to talk about in the race. Just chewing the fat and about cars and liveries and bringing back Nissan. Let's hope it comes back in the GT3. But I didn't know about the GT4, so information that I bring, more information that in my head that can just roll around for God knows how many years.
Absolutely. So it's really good as he's going to come back to see myself, Lorenzo Bonder. There's me. This is me. And this is Connor Nixon. I need to say Connor Healy, but Connor Nixon is right to my side over here. So it's okay. It's okay. But Connor, like I just said, very chill first race. Not a lot of going on. Basically the whole domination of Seminara right there, and it basically after that it's 3 more weeks to go. We're nearly ending the season, so basically week 9 just ended. Then we have week 10, 11, and 12 here at AMX1. Just to tell you guys what are going to be the next races for Sunday. There's going to be ACC in Silverstone with the GT3s, then Porsche Cup at Zandvoort. And to round out the season will be the M2 Club Sport at Olsen Park. Well, I gotta love Olsen Park. I love me some Olsen Park.
Olsen Park's a great race circuit. It's never bad. It's a bit tight though with GT3s, but you can get them around there.
No, you can get them around there. I know they race the British GT Championship with the GT4s right there, but it's always an enticing championship. I know. By the way, good shout out to my good friend Gordy Much, who's actually doing British GT and the GT4 this season, and I wish him all the best. I haven't seen the race, I think today or yesterday. I have to look at the results, see how that went down. But we go from GT3 racing to GTE racing in a little bit. Before we go into that race on AMX10, what can we expect really quickly, talking about your home track at Mount Panorama and GTE racing for iRacing?
Yeah, it should be interesting. We've had that combo ages ago. I think we had it at the end of 2023 going into 2024, and yeah, it was a great race. It never fails. It's really just action packed. Look, great sounds, awesome track. There's nothing much else to say about it. It's just a good combo.
Oh, absolutely. I love some Panorama. I love the GTE cars. I was a Ford main back in the old days. I know the Ford Mustang GT3 is not doing a whole lot of good nowadays into WEC, into IMSA as well, but then again, this is their maiden season. We'll never know. Porsche also wasn't the best when they actually came out in Daytona and in IMSA. Then they become dominant, now one of the most dominant cars. Anyway, we're going to be taking a short break over here, but we'll be back soon with AMX. Don't tune away. We'll be back in about, I would say 10 something minutes.
to save our home. We must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
So we are back with AMX 10, race 25, and week number 9 here at Mount Panorama with the GTE class. This is going to be a good one. I love me some Mount Panorama. I love me some GT racing as well. And like I said, we would be back really quickly. Where have you been in the first place? If you haven't left, that's what's the thing that matters the most. I'm Lorenzo Bonder with Connor Nixon over here with me on my left-hand side. So, Connor, we talked about a little bit of Mount Panorama. Is your home track. GT racing. I love me some for GT, even though there's a few haters into it. But anyway, what can we talk about going into depth in this race?
Oh, look, there's a lot to talk about in this race, and I think it's going to be that difference between on the limit and off, and just on that limit, because we were talking about it before, but I think we're at a different extreme now. We're at Bathurst where you got to be on those walls, you got to be on the power, and you got to be on those brakes nice and hard. And I think with the cars, they show your flaws as a driver. Obviously, without ABS, they're a lot harder. So I think with these guys, we're a bit more adapted to that GT3 style of racing. I think going back to a GTE, I think it will show who's braking's almost, who's the best in the race tonight. So I think that'll be the main thing. My apologies, but it should be good to watch.
Absolutely. Like I said, I love me some Mount Panorama. One of the hardest, if not, let's say top 3 hardest racing in terms of endurance race for you to go around the globe. It's you versus mountain, it's you versus the wall. Especially when you go down the mountain, there's no escape routes, only a McPhillamy part, but even then, that is not an escape route. Home of the Bathurst 12 hours, home of the Bathurst 1000. And before we go into the track, we got some housekeeping that we got to be talking about. So let's get right into it. As like we said before, dates start from January 27th all the way down to April 21st. Like we're on week 9. After that, 3 more weeks of racing to go. Prize pool is $20,000 in next level gear added into it, and most races in a year with a variety of car track and combos. The race format for this race specifically is a qualifier of 20 minutes with a top 15 reverse grid. After qualifying is done, Heat 1 and Heat 2, there will be 20 minutes in between, with the top 15 being reversed into the grid like you're going to happen into qualifying. Driver cams is required, much like AMX 1 over here, and AMX 10 is the same stuff, so it doesn't change one bit. You can join via the link on AMX Discord or website. Any way it works, and you want to showcase all the way to the world on the World Wide Webs. Payout on the balances of over $100 paid out in each month, and you have races every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday here at AMX. And sign up to race at AMX.com. AMXrace.com, actually. Anytime. The schedule, like I said on AMX 1, doesn't change. It is the same one for AMX 10 as well. Every Tuesday, Saturdays, and Sundays at 7:20 p.m. for AMX 10, AMX 1, and at 5:50 p.m. GMT. The prize pool for AMX 10 is a little bit different than what we normally see at AMX 1. Top 10, top 15 actually will get the money into it. It starts from quali. So first place will get $30, and then it goes to $20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 9, 8, and then all the way down to $2 to the 15th place. And once that happens, top 15 is reversed and is the same amount of money for the same grid, only added with the fastest lap, that is $4. So maximum you can get over here is $98 in total. Minimal road I rating is $2,000 I rating. Sports car eventually, and total per race is going to be $500 total. And here you have your top 12 here at AMX. Lyle Valero has a total accrued of $1,088. Into Kieran Harrison is in second, Aaron Vasquez third, Gino Filippa, Gaston Culavi in fourth, Jackson in fifth, Jackson Rossetti, Fabio Zamperlini, Pedro Dean, Simon Demori, Juan Blainot, Corentin Guinness, and Peter Zuba are your top 12, respectively, here at AMX 10. And here you're going to see the movers up and down throughout AMX 10 through the week, as you're going to see one of our GT Elite prizes from Next Level Racing, the top 10, and the AMX 10 eventually here for you guys to take a look on. And current P1, like I said before, is the Apex Racing driver, the Frenchman of Gael Valero. So, I think I said way too much. Connor, talk to us about the racing at your home track and the GT cars that we're going to be racing on.
My pleasure, mate. My home track. It's great to call this place my home. Mount Panorama, known as Bathurst, not the other word that the English say, which I get annoyed every time someone says it. Mount Panorama, which is Bathurst. Bathurst is in Australia, so it was not made. I guess you can made. You know, they put a racetrack on a hill basically in 1938. You know, very famous racetrack. We had the Bathurst 1000, the 12-hour. We've had a Bathurst 24-hour, which, if anyone knows about that, I hope I'm the only one in the room, but I guarantee I'm not. But it's 6 Ks long. It's one of the racetracks where you gotta, you know, in the endurances, you gotta run low downforce. The car's nice and slippery up the top, and hold on. It's a track that doesn't let you. I guess it almost doesn't let you be comfortable when this track. I'd say that's probably the best way to describe this place. But it's one hell of a track, and everyone loves it. And it seems like the Europeans are loving it every time they come over. And talking about Europeans, this is one of the coolest, I'd say, the car class that was ever made. And this is it right here. So this is GTE class. So this is basically, think of this as the bigger brother of GT3. GTE have more power, less weight, and just cooler cars, in my opinion. So they have 530 horsepower to 568 horsepower. 1,200 kilos. These things are light with sequential gearbox. So we have the BMW, M8, I'm pretty sure, the Ford GT, the Chev, and the Porsche RSR. So those are the cars, and I'd say the most popular one tonight would be the Porsche RSR.
All right, so we're going to take our action back to the track here. Connor, thank you so much. As qualifying still happening here at Mount Panorama, as we can see one of the drivers driving the good old Ford GT up the hill that looked like to be the race clutch car from Peter Zuba. I can be incorrect, but I want to say I'm correct because I want to believe myself that I'm actually correct. And you can see the nurse car. If it is Zuba, I'm going to call myself a genius.
Yeah, I was going to say Peter Zuba. I did see him in the Ford GT last time, so you actually could be on the money here. I want to give you hope, Lorenzo. I don't want to give you, you know, a lot of hope. I hope. I hope.
Oh no! Okay, my hopes were taken away immediately.
There was too. This is actually a very interesting driver.
Yeah, so there you go. Florian Libigra is actually the driver that is driving this car. He's 20 years old, if I remember correctly. He is from one of the drivers that builds high-mo setups, but most importantly, a Team Redline driver. So we have some Team Redline representation over here. Not Max Verstappen, not anybody else, but you have somebody that is from their side. Also, I think if I remember, Florian is a former world champion in the IR01 car, but I have to fact check that on that one. As he's going to open up his lap around the mountain, you're going to see that he's on top of the board right now with a lap of 158.858. Interestingly enough, over here, Connor, not the fastest lap in GT ever, because the fastest lap in GT ever is still, I think it is by Maxi Guts, if I remember correctly, when he set the time around this year's 12 hours of Bathurst in an unregulated, non-regulated GT3 car. But anyways, a fast lap, nevertheless, is going to put up a good pressure on everybody else on the track, as you have Jackson his end there try to be, the guy that is going to take Lebigra out of the top spot for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, what a sight it was to see that Mercedes GT3 go around here, just absolutely roaring. We've always heard those Mercedes having low revs. That thing was absolutely peaking out at, I don't even want to know what RPM it was at, but it was a great sounding car. And having DRS in a GT, I kind of want to see that in the GT3 now, seeing what it would be like. But looks like he's just got a little contact incident point, and I'd say that's his lap over. So that finishes the lap there for Florin. But yeah, if he's the championship for the IO1, that's one. That's one accomplishment, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna fact check that myself, because I'm actually curious right now. Think the makers, we still have a SimRacing Wiki to service from time to time.
Oh, we gotta love the wiki. Meanwhile, Gallo Valero, the actual leader of this championship at the moment, the GT, the next level GT rig, which I'd say he wants that rig, because it looks like an absolutely amazing rig from our sponsors as usual. Next level always being on board. Gallo Valero just always being pacey. He's never slow in a car, which annoys me just quietly, but he deserves every bit of it. The Frenchman just always coming out and being competitive, coming around the last corner, and he's going to set a lap time. Let's see if he's improved. He did get a purple sector, so does he improve? Oh, he's straight up to the top in P1. So the man that leads this championship is going to lead right now in pole position, running on board with the Beamer. And I'm going to pull up my timing while we're doing wiki as well on the side, because that'd be one. That's one championship.
No, it's if you can fact check that on me, even on iRacing, boards, I would appreciate that, because I could not find on SimRacing Wiki. It needs some updating, but good representation of force throughout the board, which I really love to see that, as we see Boris Ovando from Precision Racing Esports going around the chase, not the shabbiest line with the BMW M8, a car that is polarizing for everybody, the big boy, as they would like to call that car, and the chunk. Yeah, the memes that come out of the M8, I think they're plenty, and they're all good. As we got Team State with the Porsche 911 RSR, not the evil one, the one that was previous, a little bit of a wiggle coming out of victory corner as it goes into turn number one. Manages to lose a little bit of time, but kept it on track. Only Vinicius Dean hasn't set a time, as the Bigra does a massive improvement on his lap, puts him nearly 80 thousandths of a second better than Gallo Valero at this current moment, as Valero is on an out lap. They probably have about 4 minutes, or maybe one out lap and one hot lap for them to actually go on, and they cannot miss the out lap here, Connor. Otherwise, it's going to be deadly for them when they set the fast lap.
Yeah, for sure. I find with the outlap, just no tire temp at all, and just trying to get his camera up there in the another Ford, Maxi there. But yeah, it's all about tire temp. We see this in iRacing quite a bit, trying to get as little tire temp as possible. But I find in the GTEs, we see a lot of drivers actually warming up the car quite heavily. We saw Florin doing that before, and Conrad going down through the chase. So I could be wrong. Jackson Resende actually going faster as well. So Gallo Valero actually getting dropped again. So it's very competitive tonight. Only 200s from Florin and Jackson Resende. So this should be a very interesting night if it's this close. And then we've got Simon Demore, which is in 4th as well. We saw Demore being competitive in the last couple of rounds. Another Ford. Zambolini just coming around the last corner. Power 327. Must be the car of choice for tonight, because I think this is going to kill me, but there was a Frenchman and it wasn't Valero. It wasn't Valero, and he ran a Ford around here, a GTE, and he absolutely dominated the field. And I feel like since then, everyone's just bringing the Ford.
I mean, you have Florian Lebigra right here, which is our top guy on the board. By the way, he wasn't the iRacing world champion in the IR1. That was a Premier Law Lemonade from Jaguar Racing 2023. Fact check myself. See, sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But anyway, he did win 2 races before he actually had to do something else. I don't know, maybe in real life stuff, but you never know. As Valero's a fourth sector, really looking really good, as it was his best, but he's not satisfied with the lap. I don't think this is going to be an improvement for the Apex Racing team driver. Like I said before, and a specialist on TCRs, arguably, like I normally say, arguably one of the 5 best in the whole world in TCRs, in my current opinion, as Hezende from Delinte Esports, or Delinte Racing by TK Esports, is in 2nd place. So good to see that Jackson Hezende actually got around with the Ford very well, as Valero is now on Murray's corner. One more corner to go. A little bit of an aggressive angle. He's going to get it off track, and it's not going to be an improvement. It's going to be set into 3rd place temporarily, but it could be on the losing end, as Simon Demore is not far behind. He can take the spot away from him, but Demore back in the pits. So only a few guys in the chat that can potentially take the time away. Zamperlini doing an improvement on his 1:59.675, but it's not going to be enough. I don't think he's even going to be an improvement on his lap overall. 2 minutes and 7. Everybody else doing their final laps, and I think that's pretty much it here. Connor, our qualifying is done and dusted, unless Maxi Jaruz says otherwise.
Yeah, I think Maxi could probably put something in here. He's got some, if my thing can go away, I've got this pop-up. I can't see his actual split, so apologies. But yeah, he looks pretty pacey at the moment. Oh, there we go. Now I can see it. So all green sectors besides 1 yellow sector. So that's probably just a just, you know, a little bit slower than his previous. So it's not that bad. Let's see what it is across the line, because Valero, when he got his pole lap before, it was mainly yellows. Maxi actually improves into P6, by the way, so good job there.
Yeah, good to know. As qualified and is all settled, and Florian Lebigra is going to be our pole setter, and P1 Jackson Hezende is going to be, there you go, our session winner here at our BenQ session winner. Florian Lebigra for Red Lion Esports is going to be in P1. Jackson has ended for the Lincoln Racing by TK Esports is going to be 2nd. Gael Valero for Apex Racing Team in 3rd. Simon Demore 4th. Zamperlini for Duck Hawk Racing in 5th. Maxi Jaruz in 6th. Boris Ovando for Precision Racing Esports 7th. Gaston Kulavi, I think, is drives for Sart Racing in 7th. Roman Pascucci in 9th. Pedro Dean for Nord Racing in 10th. Team State in 11th. And Vinicius Dean also for Nord Racing in P12. 12 drivers on the track. Florian Lebigra decided to, I'm just going to log in with my main account as well and see what is going to be in terms of the track itself. Heat 1, I'll hand it out to you really quickly as we have Benny the pace car right there. Pick one driver. Who's going to win?
Oh, I had to do this last week, and I picked Gianni Vecchio, right? I'll tell the story before.
Oh, you had to curse Ginny?
Yeah. I fully cursed him. He didn't even make one lap in 2 races. I'm not kidding. I've ruined his race, and I left that night going, did I just really ruin Gianni Vecchio's night? I feel bad. But no. Look, if I had a choice, I'd probably go Jackson Rosende. He looks really pacing. I mean, we normally see him up the front for the starts, but now he's actually starting from the back. So he's put some laps in. So good to see.
Yeah, we know that the mountain TV can be chaotic. As a question in the chat is Max Cizaruz is new. Apparently, he's a new driver, new Argentinian driver over here in our MX. And always good to know, see fresh faces. As Vinicius Zine is going to lead us into the start of the race, and we're going to have about good racing, hopefully, here at Mount Panorama or Bathurst Circuit, right? Whatever that floats your boat. I like saying Mount Panorama is much better anyway. Comes into the final corner here. We have race start. Both teams goes and set us off. Turn number 1. There's a little bit of a contact between Kulavi and State into turn number 1, but State actually survives the whole ordeal. Kulavi now goes into 3rd place. A little bit of the blinking for the Brazilians as the breakaway for the time being, and the SRT push from what it looks like. Kulavi and Ovando, actually it's not an SRT, but a Precision Racing Esports, and Kulavi actually being pushed as on the outside. A little bit of chaos in the back.
Huge contact! Oh, huge contact in the background there. Who's that around? Is that Florent? No, that's Roman in the background there.
Yep, the
just going around there. Yeah. Was that the Beamer?
No, that was actually the
Porsche
of Ramon Pascucci that actually got spun around and hit Labigra on the side and apparently broke his towing. And wow, the race takes a whole different dimension than what I initially expected it to be. I did not see this one coming. At least didn't cuss Ginny. I know Ginny's situation, I think, is much better than when his actual wheel got stolen in the Sim Racing Expo. Sorry, Ginny, I had to bring this up. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm just having a look in the timing. Zambolini's in the pits. We've got Florin in pits. We've got it looks like those guys are in the pits or in a bit of a bust up. So battle on track though. Gaston in P2, but Boris right behind. A couple of Americans tonight actually. Tim State, Boris, and I saw someone else before. No, that was the other ones. That's all that's running around tonight. But good to see the Americans getting out there. See them in the NASCAR quite a bit. So it's good to see the boys out here running around. Gaston just leading the race now, and
sorry, I was just gonna say. Sorry. I was just gonna say really quickly. As Culavio Vando actually made the overtake because I don't know, could be me. The Dean brothers probably got a warning for blinking. I know there's some race control of sorts. As they probably going to just set the car around the track safely and just let the other guys go. Not going to find way too much, get their dollars for free. And now basically is a beamer fight between Start Racing driver of Gustavo Gaston Clavi and Boris Ovando here. Connor, you can take this one away. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, you're good. Clavi in front though, just leading away and up into the top of the mountain. He's going to lead it away. Right across the wall. Now he's going to come across the top of the mountain. This is where everyone sits normally and watches the 1000 happen. Down the skyline, on the curves, just run through the dipper now and we'll watch the car dive. There it is. And now straight through out. They're going to plant the throttle all the way down into Forest Elbow. This corner is tricky. The brakes are nice and slippery. Bit of a lockup for Claire there. Gaston, apologies, but Oh, look at this. That looks... Is that... It's something... We did see smoke, but the huge disadvantage there for Gaston, and it looks like the American Carnival of Boris is just going to go straight through to the lead and take this away. So down through the chase, and this is, if I'm correct, this could be one of the first Americans that lead the race. This is pretty cool. I haven't seen it for a bit, so...
Yeah, absolutely. This is good to know. Good to see that Boris Ovando for Precision Racing Esports has always been on that verge of potentially winning. I know he's a very good GT driver. He used to be used to main, if I remember correctly, GTEs before coming into other forms of racing. I know he races from time to time on their league, in the Precision Racing League, in the Precision Racing League that I commentate on from time to time, and in GT cars, from the cars, pretty much everything. As Son Pelago trying to do his best to follow suit. As Simon Demori now jumps into fourth place. Marty Zaruz in the fifth, but not far behind is Gaio Valero in sixth place with that Apex Racing 4 GT. But there's about 2.5 seconds that separates the first pack to the second pack. We're going to look on the incident that took Team State's race out, immediately crashing into Jaruz. I think he had a little bit of a checkup because of that. Jacked up his rear. The car just completely loses control on the exit of Skyline. And luckily for everybody, that crash was on the outside lane rather to be on the inside lane right there.
Yeah, it was unfortunate there, just for that incident, just being straight up of the race. You never want to see that as a commentator or, you know, a fellow driver. But, you know, it just have that incident at turn 2 where there's not much room to go anywhere. If there's a car on the left, you got to zig right. But then if they, you know, let go of their brakes just for a fraction, you know, they reverse straight into the opposite lane. So it's such a hard incident to get around in turn 2. And Orlando is going to just lead another lap, by the way. I just want to point this out, by the way, because I haven't really seen an American get around for a while. You know, I see him in the NASCAR getting around, but leading a GT race, this is pretty cool. I know there'd be some happy fans out there. Fastest lap 2. And there goes Simon Demore with the fastest lap. Actually with a 59.2, so he's actually 0.6 faster than P1 at the moment. He is flying along, and Dean, and then there's Jackson Rosende, which I've jinxed him. I told you I shouldn't have said anything, but here we are.
Yeah, I feel your pain. I know what you mean. I completely know what you mean. Now that Resende is going to be on the inside, he's going to make that overtake work on Team State. I don't think the team is going to fight away that much around the chase. He's already on the back bumper of the Brazilian, so goes around the Delinky Racing by TK driver. Clears one off. Obviously not where he wants to be early on, but of course he's going to get a better positioning in the top 15. Reverted grid for the time being will be placed fourth place. As now we're looking to Simon Demore. Simon Demore on the charge already against the Argentinian and against the American as well. Reaching Kulav is going to be a little bit complicated as Valero. A massive issue. That stumped him, having lost about 3/10 for. Now second to everybody else. Lost P4, lost P5. Now Peter Dean from Norton Racing into 5th place. What has happened to Gael? As I think Gael might have lost one more place.
Yeah, it looks like I wonder what happened. We'll get an incident in the bottom right there, but yeah, he might have just lost it coming through the skyline, because I feel like it was around that section where something happened. But Simon Demore though, up 7 spots. He we've done a couple of interviews with him, and he's been pretty. I've said in a couple of interviews that he's been getting faster and faster and faster.
Oh no!
And look at this. Look at this thing. It is absolutely broken. You can see the front right is jammed in that wheel well. And watch the Frenchman see if he can handle this car through the chase. Oh, he's in the dirt. Skips across the grass. Oh, does he hit the ball? No, he parks it. No. Oh, but he's hit the wall.
No, he hit the wall.
The Frenchman going straight into the wall, and yeah, that's unfortunate. He was doing so well that front right wheel just all of a sudden it just wanted to work. Here's a replay. Let's see what happened here. So top of the hill, bang, there it is, and the front right would have been jammed by now, and there it is.
I think just went way too deep on Reed Park, and unfortunately, and got that crash. That traditional crash, as Zende does his best lap. Lavi, a little bit of a wiggle at the back, losing a little bit of the traction of the BMW M8, but somehow, some way, keeps it on the track now. And now Simon Demori is on the charge on the RGT, and he's going to use the V8 of the Ford, actually the V6. Look at the grunt the Ford is going to do on the outside. Simon Demori is going to do the overtake, and Kulavi don't want anything of it. Mr. P2, we're still watching Gael Valera's incident. All right, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth, right? I know Gael. I know you know why he's a little bit sad.
Go on.
He's a little bit sad with the fact that iRacing changed the effects of the sand, right? Now the sand actually slows down the car, because now when you slow down the car, you're not going to be able to make the jump anymore. Everybody used to love the jump for that. So I know that even with the
good old days where you could send the car over the jump and, you know, have a good laugh with your buddies. No, iRacing wanted to take away just the enjoyment at Bathurst, and yeah, it wasn't a good day when all my fellow Australians found that one out. Yeah, let's just say we weren't happy. So iRacing, put it back in, please, now.
It's like I really don't mind if iRacing ever does a special patch, like for Bathurst 12 hours, like. You read it on patch notes. We removed the sand effects specifically before the tire barrier at the chase, right? Yeah. Then I'm probably gonna be like very happy. I'm like, yay! I can actually bring my Ford GT next year into the Bathurst 12 hours, unless they bring the Ford Mustang because they skinned it. I'm not gonna say if they're gonna bring the car or not. Don't at me, iRacing. Don't at me, people. I know they skinned the car. I know they skinned the Corvette as well, but don't at me, people, because I'm not contractually obligated to say things. I'm not even contracted by iRacing, so I don't know anything. Okay, I'll put it as mildly to every single one of you that is actually watching. But if they bring it, I'll be very happy driving that Mustang Boda around any tracks in the world. I might actually come back to drive GT3 racing, which I'm basically retired off, except maybe for the 24 hours of Spa. But we still have a race going on. I'm not forgetting about that.
I'm the same as you. I'm retired from a GT3 and all the GT realm. I've solely just done V8 supercars and NASCAR. So I've dabbled in GTs, and they're okay, but I've always said I love my big V8, so yeah, never take that away from me. But yeah, I mean, look, it would be seriously funny if they put the jump back in. And about that whole contract thing, technically you have a contract with iRacing because you have a subscription, so I don't know.
Oh, no. You are correct on that end, but I mean, I'm not contractually, enticed to iRacing streams and blah 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 blah, like some guys like Tony Braun are, you never know. But anyway, coming back on the track, I know Simon Demori's catching up to Boris Ovando. It was a little bit of a tiny catch up on the previous lap. It was about 0.2 of a second that Simon actually caught up to Boris Ovando. I know he's racing hard, that BMW M8. He's driving the big boy around the skyline right now, trying to keep the car on the track the best way he can. But good to know that we still have a race on our hands, and potentially maybe a battle on the final lap here, Connor.
Yeah, for sure. It's heating up. We can see Simon tomorrow just sneaking up to the back of the American at the moment, and that M8 is moving across the top of the hill. You can see Boris is just fighting with the wheel coming through Skyline, the dipper. It doesn't want to bar it, and you can just see this Ford GT just cruise onto the back of him through Conrad and watch him through the chase. He's already gained his hands, by the way, since we've been on board. And is it going to be 2 tenths? No, Boris is actually going him back on the brakes. And this should be interesting, actually. If he can keep that 1 second gap, though, Boris could have a chance of getting this little win, which is some cheeky little dollary dues, which I think we all love.
Yeah, absolutely. As we have a car on the pit lane. From what it looks to be, Florian Lebiger came into the pit lane. Am I going crazy? But yeah, you never know. 1 second is the gap between Boris Alfando and Simon Demori. Here with 2 laps to go, 2 and 3/4 laps to go. You can see that Alfando is doing his best to keep that car on the track. I know the chat is happy to see an American, being featured to win a race here at AMX Global. I know even our commentator Connor Nixon is happy for Boris with a potential win here at AMX 10. But I know Simon Demori is thinking otherwise, gap under a full second as they go around Suman, Reed, and McPhail and Park.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like Simon's just racking up the wins bit by bit. Like, I reckon give it a couple of months with Simon, and I reckon he'll be up the front in every race, always up the top. Just because, over time, he's just been getting better and better and better, and it's so fascinating to watch that progress. You come on as a commentator and you go, okay, this is what we're going to commentate, blah blah blah. But then you watch the drivers progress, and it's really good to see the progress. With drivers improving, but. People like Boris, you got to chant for, because I do race for an American team on top of that, so I feel like I'm part American, so I've got a duty. But
I'm wondering, when are you going to talk to Simon Feigold about your Altus contract?
Oh, me? Ooh, don't know. I don't know.
I mean, you can work as a spotter because you work as a spotter for one of their drivers now.
Well, Simon hit me up. But, funny story about that, but I'm not going to mention it on stream because something's just happened with my team. So anyway, moving across from that. But Simon, do hit me up. I got to catch my breath now. Simon Demori on the back of Boris here now, just closing in that gap bit by bit. Just look at him hunting him down. Look at the concentration face on both of them, and you can just this is typical Demori. Just locked in as usual. Just typical locked in. No expressions until he gets out of the car, and he's like one of the nicest guys you can meet. So little bit of a little bite nipple. What is it called? Biting the lip across the top. I feel like everyone does that with Bathurst. Yeah, biting the lip across the top of the hill. Riding on board with him now. Boris coming through the back of the track now, and now this is where it's going to get very interesting. 4 tenths off. Let's watch the game from Simon Demori and this Ford GT. You'd be surprised that. Oh, look at the zigzagging! Look at the zigzagging! It's happening. With the V6 twin turbo, you wouldn't think it'd be such a game, but it is. Gaining, and look at that. That was 410 straight past him up the inside, and he's on the outside. He's going to have to try and find some grip around the outside. Boris squeezes him, and he's got the move done. The American is going to keep the lead. Simon Demori on the outside. Does he try and go around the outside, or does he go under? He doesn't go under. Or he tries to, though, but Boris gets away with it again. White flag. Let's see one more time at Bathurst, shall we? Until heat 2. Around the first corner. Hell corner. This is one of the easiest corners you can stuff up. It's a easy corner to bugger up to turn 2 though, and look at this V6. The beam is going to keep the inside. Boris is going to stick there. He doesn't want to move, but he's got no option. That Ford's on the outside. Look at the speed, and Demaro's got the lead of the race. Heat 1. Let's see if we can pull away with this.
Absolutely, as they go up the mountain right now through the cutting. So there you go. Saturday morning retains a small lead over Boris Ovando. Boris now going to be able to use the draft, and the Ford. I've seen a question in the chat: is the BMW quicker around the corner? It's not quite. Actually, the Ford on the fixed setup is a little bit quicker than the BMW through the whole pace, because the Ford carries a little bit of more, weight around the corners. That's why it's a heavier car, but it's better on the brakes. So you can kind of like upgrade the Ford a little bit. The Ford has a finicky brake, just so to speak. As you're going to come down the Forest Elbow right now, left-hand turn. You're going to have about 3 more corners to go. Boris actually just completely obliterates the corner, and Simon in the morning now can breathe easy. There you see, Simon, breathing easy. He's gonna be able to break away. 0.5 of a second is the gap between Simon and Mori. Boris Ovando can still close the gap though. This is still doable. He's gonna have to late brake the car a little bit, carry as much speed as he can through the chase. But there you go. 2 more corners to go. Left-hand side, right-hand side for Simon and Mori. Now only Murray's corner to deal with, and already coming into the final line will be Simon and Mori. He's going to be your winner here at Heat 1 on AMX 10.
Awesome win for Simon Demora there. It looked like at turn 2, Boris just had nothing for him. He just went straight around the outside, and we saw in that Conrad straight, it was 5/10, and there's slipstream, and the Ford just still pulled away.
Yeah. It's insane to think about that, as Gustavo Kulavi is going to come in third. Boris Ovando tried his best for America, but I'm not going to say even that America has choked, but he finished in a very respectable second place. That is always good to see. Maxi Jerusa with a good debut in the 4th place. Pedro Dean and Vinny Dean are going to finish in 5th and 6th respectively. Jacques Hezende is going to perform a really good comeback and place out in 7th place here at Mount Panorama. Bard and Emisation Team Say is going to be in 8th place. Fabio Zamperlini is going to be in 9th, and Gael Valedo and Florian Lebigre are going to be your P10 and P11, and Rome Pascucci is going to be your last place car on the track, adding $5, but most importantly, he's going to lead us out on heat number 2. Oh, never mind. There you go, Lebigre. That looks like to be Lebigre and Gael. Just I'm gonna bump draft the other guy. Just let him off easily, no problem. Chill and just having a little bit of fun before heat number 2.
For sure, and we're just gonna say Gallo Valero across the line, and I feel like he'd be a little bit disappointed with that, but in this reverse grid, so the man can go back up there, and I've got a funny feeling he might pull away because we saw some absolute flying lap times, and there's the red line driver finishing as well, Florin. Coming across the line, everything's going to reset. Heat 2, everything's going to get reversed, and we're going to go again, and if that was Heat 1, can't wait for Heat 2, and there's our results, and I feel like we don't really need to go through it. We just went through the whole list, but the man, the myth, the legend, Simon Demore taking the session winner, Ben Q, and Jackson Resende actually with the fastest lap time. So I did say Jackson, I'd probably put my money on, and but I cursed him, so apologies to his fans, family, and everything else. Apologies. Terrible things I'm doing in the commentary box, but fastest lap though.
Yeah, absolutely. As they're not gonna have any time to rest. We're gonna go from Heat 1 all the way down to Heat 2. As you can see, Benny the pace car going around Chase. Like I said before, Roman Pascucci is gonna lead us out with the Florian, the B Gray in right behind them, and Gavalera on the outside lane. As soon as they lead us out, final corner, they're going to be green flag over here. Early launch from Pascucci, basically checked up the whole field. There we go. Green flag is out. 10 more laps here at Virtual Mount Panorama. And Pascucci already defending the inside lane. Lebigre on the outside trying to make that overtake work. Can he make it work? Runs soft wide into Hell's Corner. There's a crash with Team State right far behind. Comes back into the track, but the Team State race is done. Meanwhile, the Argentinian leading the pack while Gael Valero try to follow suit. Side by side will be both of them, as Valero is going to come into the lead potentially on turn number 2. Valero runs wide. There's a little bit of hit. Jack from Zamperlini. Somehow, some way they survive the whole ordeal, and Jackson Rezende says, muito obrigado, goes into second place.
I'll tell you what, Jackson Rezende, and I think that was Gallo Valero. I just saw their cars drifting, and I was like, oh no, not again. But we're on top of the hill, so Roman on the top of the hill and then top of the world at the moment in P1, leading this race though, but he's got Jackson Rezende behind him, and my famous words, everyone knows what he's like at AMX. An aggressive driver, and he knows how to drive, and that's Florence there in the background there. No, there we go, Roman. So there's his face cam, and he went wide there, and Jackson had a look. He had a look. He wasn't scared, but Roman just tried to like duck down and try and get some slipstream. And look at this snake just go. I call it a snake, but it is the train. But now listen to these cars. Awesome set.
Valero coming into everything as they make the overtake on the Argentina. The Argentina breaks late on Jaruz. Inside through the chase, is able to retain second place on that outside lane. And now Valero held back to third, and Jackson Rezende, Brazilian, into the lead. Now the question is, can he break away from everything else that is happening at the back while still retaining Pascucci's aggressive lane right from him as they close out the first lap?
Yeah, finishing at this first lap, that was I feel like that was different. We saw the same incident in turn 2. And look at this Ford train, by the way. Let's just point this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Fords in a row, and on that back straight, we just saw them drag race Roman down the back straight, and he just had nothing. Zero, nothing. But Jackson Rezende taking the lead, and he's actually up 6 spots, so he's had an awesome start. I feel like we should point that out.
Tried to put up the move on Simon Demori, but got checked up at the cutting, so Demori with a really good defense. He knows he's under pressure from the Frenchman from Team Redline. Now the Burger had to check up the car a little bit to avoid the dirty air, to slam it into the wall. Meanwhile, at the front, Jackson has already putting in a full second with Pascucci, as Pascucci now has an entire field of force to contend with. So it's a lone Porsche basically fending off against a horde of Porsches as he locks the brakes into basically Forrest Albo and checks up Valero. Valero not appreciative of this, is already saying something. Hopefully not in French. Hopefully it isn't PG-18 as he goes into the inside, already makes the overtake on the Argentinian. I think Jaruz is going to follow suit. He comes into the inside lane, block Jaruz, coming through the chase. That inside lane is going to favor Jaruz right now. Might favor also Florian Lebigra, and eventually Zamperlini as well. The number 21 is able to go through. Simon Demori is able to go through. Lebigra trying to force the issue on the outside. Near contact between both of them. But somehow, some way, nobody dies on the whole ordeal as Zamperlini is still on the innocent bystander on the outside here. Connor, I'm gonna call this tragedy is wanting to strike here at Mount Panorama. The question is where and when.
Yeah, it seems like that at the moment. We just see all this movement all the time. I'm pretty much sitting here crossing my fingers, and here's the flashes of the headlights. I think that's Gaston. Yes, it is Gaston. And Boris just in front, giving him that massive slipstream, being a fellow BMW driver, and he's going to help him out. And Oh, huge contact! You were talking about contact. There's contact at turn 2.
Wow.
And that is the red line driver out, flown, absolutely gone. He's got no front bumper, no nothing. Gone. Maxi in P3, and he's got the Simon Dubai right on his back bumper now. The guy that won Heat 1, can he bring it back for a cheeky Heat 2 as well? That's the question, but he's got Jackson Rosende and Gallo Valera in front of him. So that should be a bit of a challenge.
And Lebigre is also out of this race already, so they could have gone as worse as potentially possible for Lebigre. But let's be honest, this was talking about a potential incident. This was basically calling for an incident, as now Demori on the outside line, but better run through the exit off Forest Elbow on Maxi Giroux as they go down Conrad straight. There will be a chance for maybe Giroux to come back around on the chase, depending on how much the car actually sucks in the dirty air and is able to make the overtake and how committed it's going to be, but no commitment whatsoever to an overtake. So the Argentina is going to lose a spot to Simon Demori, so Simon continues for the time being in third place. Last battle for the podium, while Jacques Tunazenge clears himself away, 159.2, 159.3 for Gal. Now the question is, does Valero have pace enough on that Ford GT to catch up to the Brazilian and challenge the Delinte Racing by TK for that victorious spot on Mount Panorama?
Yeah. And we're going to have a full screen replay. This is probably the first on the night, so this will be good to watch. This is the crash with the red line driver and Roman Pascucci. Let's have a look.
Oh
bang.
no.
Oh. It looks like Pascucci's just moved over to the right, and Florin is just already committed, and it's already happened. And just see the two cars have contact with the Porsche and the Ford GT having huge contact there. Unlucky, and we're going to go back to full screen now, live action, but appreciate the replay being cute. And yeah, that was one hell of a crash. It was you could see that Pascucci just he tried to block, but he blocked too late, and the Ford's already committed to the move, and that was it. And huge contact at turn 2. It looks like that's the corner to be at tonight, and it's like he's just bouncing off the wall a little bit, and good old friend Boris just right behind him in the BMW M8, and the big on the inside. Jeremy Clarkson right up the inside, and he's just going to go straight by him, it looks like. And it looks like Maxi's going to back out of it, and Bryce has got the move done. Oh, it looks like the Ford wanted it a bit more. And it looks like Bryce has walked away with it with clean hands almost. He hasn't made contact or anything. So now the chase is on for Simon Demore. He's a buddy from last race, so this should be quite interesting. Bryce actually going really fast there, actually 3/10 faster than Simon Demore. So I wonder if Simon's got a bit of an issue maybe.
I wonder also if Maxi Giroux's car is actually losing a little bit of performance or something like that, because it's not being able to catch up to anywhere whatsoever to Boris Ovando. But more importantly, he's also allowing Zamperlini to come through. Now the gap is very close between the Brazilian and the Argentinian, so this battle for third place can still be reignited when they come down the mountain. It's going to be coming down basically through Zamperlini's ability to tame the mountain and come down fast enough. And meanwhile, at the front, gap lowers down to 2.3 seconds between his NG and Gal Valero here at the top of the mountain on Mount Panorama, the virtual Mount Panorama, and Simon Demori retains third place, and Boris Ovando doing his best to catch up to Demori, but I don't think he has ground to the car, even though he's doing his best to push the car around the track. But Demori doing a fantastic job retaining the American in tow. You can see her there, the Brazilian Fabio Zamperlini with the Borussia Dortmund jersey. Good to see football teams being represented. Yeah, I know what a football team is. But with that being said, good to know that Zamperlini, really nice guy, by the way. I like Zamperlini. He's going to put the car on the inside of Maxi Giroux's. Easy overtake is going to be for the Brazilian as he goes into the inside portion of the chase. Nearly, Giroux crashes him around when he was coming back into the outside, into the internal line. And now you can see Zamperlini looking into his rearview mirrors, the Argentinian, as the 3-7 of the Duckhawk Racing goes up one spot. Oh, Vando, what happened?
Making the position, and look at this. The American having issues at the last corner, it looked like. He might have had a lock up and just went into the dirt, maybe. It just looked a little odd. It was carrying no speed at all, so something's happened there. Simon DeMore's skipped away from the pack, so he doesn't need to worry about these guys behind him now. So that brings something into question. Here's actually an incident in the bottom right with Mr. Boris himself. So let's have a look. Oh, I reckon he's hit the barrier. Oh, I was close. That was and it looks like Max almost just going straight into the back of him, and that was close. But good car control there from the American, doing very well there. So now he's gonna have to chase him back down again. All that effort, and he's gonna have to redo it all over again on car 86 right in front of us, that you can see on this front nose cam, which is getting very nice and close to this Ford.
Yeah, that's Maxi Giroux right in front of him. So basically, it's a reset move for the American as they go down through the cutting. Yeah, not cutting, but they need to go through the dipper and actually manage to keep the car in track, avoids a potential crash on the back of Maxi Giroux, but because of that, he's going to lose all the momentum on the BMW made, and is going to retain 6th position for the time being. It might actually bring Stonkulavny closer, not into the overtaking conversation, but definitely into the spot of safety for the time being, as now he still has Murray's corner to contend with. I don't think Vando is gonna make that overtake. No, he doesn't, and that BMW made with the better grill of the BMW is still in 6th place.
Yeah, it's definitely the better looking BMW. I was actually annoyed they didn't make that into a GT3 version, but that's another discussion for another day, because they made the M6 a GT3 car, and then they had the M4 come up after that. Or is that 3 or a 1? It could be a 4, who knows. I think it's a 4. But
which one?
Oh, the new one, the new GT3, but anyway.
It's the M4.
Yeah, the M4. Too many.
Oh.
Boris making a move. He's got it done. Look at that. Great move. But
yeah, nice move.
Yeah, too many M's, too many numbers. Yeah, mate, just flying past in the sketchy part of the track. You normally don't want to make an overtake there, but he's made it work, and the American is just making his way up to the back of Zamperlini, which, yeah, the Duckhawk Racing having some pretty good pace tonight. We always see Zamperlini in that midfield pack, so he's in P4 at the moment, so very good spot at the moment. One spot up from where he started. Oh! Gaston having a lock-up. We were talking about the brakes at the start of the show, that it's going to be a challenge, and it's showing. There's definitely a couple of drivers locking up in certain spots, and you can see it's definitely a thing that is not easy to master with these cars. And you did say, Lorenzo, with the Ford, with its brakes, by the way.
Yeah, they're tweaky brakes. They're like, sometimes can go from 0 to 100, just like a light switch. So it's, you either lock it up or you're gonna lock up the rears and the car spins around. It's a very odd braking, but not saying that it's good braking, but it's I would say it underperforms in comparison to the other cars, right? Especially on a fixed setup. like they race over here at AMX. But the important thing is that in terms of straight line speed, it is the better car. I think on open setups, the Porsche might be the better one in comparison to the Ford. The BMW might be the third wheel of the bunch. I know the Corvette also has some straight line speed, but not seeing the Corvette C8 being represented over here. I know the C8 right now to become its GT3, like I said before, is been on the talks and maybe coming into iRacing in the near future. So I really hope to see that Corvette GT3 coming into iRacing. I wish I could see the Camaro GT4 though. Like I love the Camaro GT4. Camaro GT4 for me is a beauty. I wish that could come into iRacing. Normally, when I used to do ACC, I used to ride the GT4 or that GT4 or the Mustang one. Unfortunately, there's no Mustang GT4s on ACC yet. But coming back on the track, as we still have about 2 laps and a half to go here, or even less than 2.5 laps to go. Connor, Jacques Resendi's gap now. Basically retaining 2.5 seconds, and I don't see Gael Valero as able to close down the gap to the Brazilian unless some strategy happens to the Brazilian.
Yeah, we saw Jackson Resende in qualifying have some really good pace. I'm actually not shocked that he's kept the lead. We've seen this in a couple of incidents. With Jackson, he will just, if he's out front, he'll stay there. And while I just said that, Jackson's just lost a second worth of time there. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut for another lap or two because, yeah, he just lost a second there. So I wonder if there's something to be caused by that. I think it might have been we saw at the last corner with Boris going off. So I wonder if that could have been the issue because at last minute his time just dropped and it's still dropping. It's actually dropping massively at the moment, so that I think we should have just stopped talking about it. Poor Jackson, he keeps getting cursed by the commentators, which is quite normal.
It's your fault.
Yeah, I know. Coming up through there, cutting now, and just onto the top of under the tree. Actually, this is a tricky corner. You got to be riding that wall all the way to the top. And here's Jackson Resende. So I wonder if there's a replay to why the reason is that he's lost all this time because he's still losing time to Gallo Valero, and Valero is still there definitely, and he's in the slipstream. Jackson Resende having a small lock up there. And this should be white flag when we across the line as well. So if he can make 6Ks around this place, he's got the win. But 6K is a long way. And there's that scratch on the side of the car. We found the reason why. Look at the size of that scratch.
I knew it.
Is the instant? Last corner, called it. Oh, bang.
It is literally the same incident.
Square.
It's literally the same incident that Boris Ovando had, if you think about it, as they are going to open up the final lap here, Connor. Well, that being said, final lap to go. Go ahead, Connor. Go ahead. Before take it back to the
Sorry. No, you're good. For last time around here, Heat 2. Final lap, Gallo Valero versus Jackson Resende, different people, but this is the battle we all want to see. Gallo Valero on the outside, does he do it the same as Simon Demora? He doesn't, the same car, so all it's coming down to now is driver and a bit of a scratch down the side of the car, let's mention that. Gallo Valero trying to go around the outside, he has a peak, Jackson holds his line the whole way in, stops it on the apex, so Valero can't do much about it. Under the tree, we'll see it in a second. Under the tree, right, the kiss into that wall. Coming up to Reed Park now. We're in Reed Park now, and then we're on top of the McPhillip Mountain. And look at that, look at the speed that Jackson Resende is carrying in, and this is when they're going to fire down Skyline. Now they're going to play through the dipper. This is where it just gets absolute flung off the side of a cliff into a dip. Down Forest Elbow. Jackson Resende keeping composed. Does he smack the wall, or does he keep it nice and clean, or does he just scratch the wall? Oh, he scraped it. There goes a mirror. Valero on the outside, and he's got it done.
And not only that, I think he lost a little bit of the back bonnet there for Valero. Already breaking away 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second. It's going to be even bigger than that. Connor, you can even see there's a little bit of the back end loss for the Brazilian. So the Brazilian on the final lap, he's going to choke. You can even see on the left-hand side of Valero's car, there's a little bit of a dent. But with that being said, Gael Valero is going to win Heat 2 here at AMX 10 after a frantic battle against the Brazilian coming down for Estelbo. And Jackson Rossetti is going to finish second with Simon Demori finishing in third place.
Oh, huge dive! Two in the wall, last lap, last corner, and it looks like I think the Ford got it. Yep, it was. Yeah. Good way to finish off.
But that is going to be reviewed.
Heat 2. Yeah, for sure. Oh, and then Dean coming across. By the way, we haven't mentioned anything about Dean, so hi Dean. But coming across the line now, squabble under brakes, and he's going to get around the lap. Tim State, we haven't talked about him much tonight. We normally talk about him, but maybe tonight is not his night to be talked about. You know, every other night I'm on, I talk about him. So Tim State with the VR just coming through Forest Elbow, and he's going to finish out the lap. But that was a good night of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. As we only have Stade left to do his lap, as Florian Labigre and Roman Pascucci are out in this race, respectively, at AMX 10. And while Stade is still doing his final lap over here, Connor, what a crazy second race this has been. Pascucci trying to over-defend the car through some corners. Labigre eventually being out of both races, one of the favorites, not even featured for a podium battle or anything like that. Barely could get like 2 laps in. The State does this race. Mount Panorama proves once again why you gotta respect the mountain.
That's it. As Mark Scaife said it about 1 million times at Bathurst 1000, 300 kilometers an hour down Conrad, and you got to respect this joint. So, and there it is, Gallo Valero, P1. Different winners either, Heat 1 and Heat 2, but I think Heat 1 was slightly better, just in my own opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the results. Ben Q session winner, Gael Valero, Jackson Rezengi in second place, Simon Demori third, Fabio Zamperlini in fourth, Boris Ovando fifth, Maxi Giroux is in sixth, Gaston Culavi, Pedro Dean, Vinny Dean. Team State are your top 10, with Florian Labigre and Roman Pascucci being your 12 drivers here at AMX 10. Fast lap done by the Brazilian of Jackson Rossetti early on in the race, so he gets the $4 right here. So we're going to have a little bit of face-to-face here, Mr. Connor Nixon. We can talk a little bit of our perspective of this race before I actually get to our, what can we say? Conversations with the drivers, right? We gotta talk to the drivers about these 2 heats. But I've done the Bathurst 12 hours so many times in iRacing. I never finished Bathurst 12 hours. I think I've only finished once out of 5-6 times. So my track record is not the best, but you gotta love the mountain, nevertheless.
Yeah, I love the joint. I won the Bathurst 1000 4 times, and it's a great place, and definitely respect the place. And I'm glad it's my home track. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to get 2 interviews right now. So we're going to get our Brazilian driver of Jackson Resende, and we're going to switch it up a little bit because he only speaks Portuguese. I speak Portuguese, so I'm going to do a little bit of a translation after everything is said and done for every single one of you. So, basically, Jackson, aqui estou contigo, rapaz. Eu vou perguntar em português e vou traduzir depois para inglês a tua resposta, ok?
Ok.
as duas baterias. A primeira bateria certamente ali foi uma loucura, né? Se a gente pode dizer de certa forma. Mas fala daquela segunda bateria. O que aconteceu ali no final da penúltima volta, cara, pra tu bater ali na última curva?
A famosa castanhada. Subiu na zebra, pulou na zebra, ali jogou o carro pra fora e não teve o que fazer. Aí bateu, quebrou a suspensão traseira, tava todo torto. Aí eu falei, vou deixar ele passar, só que eu falei, tem uma volta, vou tentar defender. Aí não deu. Na última reta ele passou, não teve o que fazer, ele tava sem reta, tava tudo quebrado. A famosa castanhada ali aconteceu.
Acontece. So I asked them about the two heats. The first heat not going the best way, right? The first heat didn't go the way that he wanted. Second heat, he had the mistake on the second to last lap. So I asked him, and it was basically, driver mistake, hit the wall, broke the suspension. Then he saw Gael. He tried to defend Gael. What can he do? Try to go for the win, but didn't get the way that he probably wanted. Jackson, back to you. De volta a ti. Cara, tem sido um campeonato interessante, né? Tu tem corrido tantas categorias, né? De carros aqui na AMX 10. Tem algum carro que, de todos que tu correu, que chega a ser da tua preferência? Sei que tu correu já de Porsche, correu de tudo, mas qual tu gostou desses carros diferentes?
Cara, é esse que eu acho que é o barato dessa liga, porque nunca é só um combo, é só um carro. São várias categorias, várias pistas, então eu acho que isso que é o bacana da categoria. Mas tirando o TCR, que eu odeio, o resto tudo é legal.
Tá tranquilo, e tu tem que pensar que ainda tem o anual. Anyway. So I just asked him about the car and combo combination. I know he drives pickups and everything, so I asked him what car combination and of all these that he raced on AMX 10. He said there's all these cars that he likes to race. Other than the TCRs, he basically hates TCRs, so that's what can he do about it. But that's why he likes about this league. It's a little bit different. Jackson, parabéns. Eu vou deixar tu descansar aí no Brasil. Foca aí no que tem ainda em termos de campeonato. A gente vê na próxima corrida, rapaz.
Valeu, falou, Lourenço. Tudo de bom pra você também.
Abraços. There you go. So we had now Jackson Rosani. We're gonna have now Boris Avando next to talk to here at AMX. A little bit of an interesting conversation. Never had to do this, two-way of you doing, the question and then doing the translation as well. This is the first for me. Interesting. I want to do this again more. As now we have Boris Avando. Boris, I'll have to say, the whole North America was waiting for this. And talk us through what happened, man.
Well, I knew I had to get really good exits. Those Fords, man, they were 3/10 faster on every straight. And once you got close, there was not much I could do. But I tried to maintain the gap as much as I could. And it was so close to getting that first win again. It just wasn't meant to be, I guess, but hopefully next time.
Still, you get some good money. It's still second place. You still get $20. It is good money. You got to be thinking about that. But
I'm definitely happy.
Absolutely. But going back to the second race, I think was a little bit more frantic race with everything that happened besides you with Ford and Labigra and everything. Race-wise, was this basically expected from a sprint race down the mountain, or you thought it would be a little bit different?
Well, the Fords were starting out front, and the way I saw it was I wasn't going to catch them. So I just had to do my best to avoid any carnage that might happen. There were some two wides up the mountain that I just wanted no part of, and just backed off and stayed clean. And unfortunately, I got past, I think, 3 Fords, and I was doing really well. And I don't know what happened on that last corner. I mistimed the brakes or what, but luckily I kept it off the wall and was able to regain one position after that, which was really difficult. I didn't think I was going to be able to pass Maxi because he's on that Ford, and with the top speed, it just was going to be impossible.
Yeah, that is really good. At least you kept it off the wall, unlike Jackson on the second to last lap on the second race. So that is good to know. At least that's the important thing. Keep the car alive right through the mountain. That's what matters.
Yeah, that's my main concern nowadays. Because when I first started, I was getting involved in a lot of incidents. So I backed it off a little bit now and just try to keep it clean.
Well, that's the important thing, especially at the mountain. Boris, I'll let you go. You take your rest, and congratulations at P2. I know you wanted P1, but nevertheless, you always get some good money and good results back home over there for Precision Racing Esports, and I'll see you on the next race.
Thanks, Lorenzo. Appreciate it. Thanks.
So, back to here you go, Connor. As we're gonna wrap up over here off the top. With that said and done, we only have 3 more weeks to go, Connor, which is insane to think about. Only week 10, 11, and 12 to talk to. We're going to be starting on Tuesday, April 2nd, with the with the Mazda's MX5 Cup at Tsukuba. At the 2000 full circuit is always a good thing to race on over there. And then we go to TCRs at Sebring. Love me some Sebring, and it's going to be really good to talk about those races. I'm probably not going to be commentating this race per se, but you never know. You might even see my debut.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think like we started at the start of the year where it's like, okay, we've got, to April, and you think, it should take a while, but we get here and it's like, how has that just happened? Like, it's just happened that quickly, and we're in the 4th month now, the 1st of April, which it's for me. Everyone, don't stress. It's just me. It's just being an Australian. It's crazy, but it's
yeah. So with that being said, I think we can show some results for you to people. As they're all been compiled, the winner in race 25 here at AMX 10 is going to be Simon Demori, with Gaio Valero in 2nd place, and Jacques Rezendi is going to be in 3rd. Boris Avando 4th, Maxi Giroux 5th, Fabio Zamperlini 6th, Gaston Presta Colavi in 7th, 4th, and Lebigre somehow, some way with that pole position. He's going to get $30. He's going to be in 8th place, tied with Pedro Dean, and his brother Vinny Dean for Nordic Racing are going to be your top 10. Connor, well, Simon, earned his stripes to go into P1 on the first race. That boosted him to get those $30 and also the fastest lap of the race on Heat 1. So helped him to get towards that top spot.
Yeah, he had a good first race, and he just had to finish really to get a really good result tonight, and getting a P1 tonight, I reckon he'd be quite happy with that.
Yeah, not only got a P1, but he got a P3 as well. With that being said, I think we can bid you farewell here at the AMX, but don't, like I said before, don't fret. We still have more racing weeks. Still have Tuesday to come. Same time, 5:55 for AMX for AMX 1. Then a 7:20 p.m. GMT for AMX 10. But with that being said, on behalf of everybody at AMX, I'm Lorenzo Bonder. This is Connor Nixon. You guys gonna see him Saturday as well, maybe. But we'll see you next time. Maybe this Tuesday here at AMX.
take it all.